Been on the line, you stressing. I seen the whole to test it. She tryna car ain't run, she missed it. Been on the Royce, blessing. I used to be in the crib, I was hesitant. No competitions, passion. I hate a blunt on my loan, I ain't passion. Rock all the truly on me, I been the shit on the fiend. I did a lot just to get it on me. Hating them like you on me. Fashion on the shit I bleed. Shorty won't get on her knees. She got a man, what she shoot on me. I can shit about a bitch, hella ice on my.
Alright YouTube, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be breaking down Hedi by Onsight. So this is a beat I made back in November last year, and I found Onsight, or he found me. I don't know which came first, but we found each other and I sent him the beat, and he did his thing. If you haven't listened to the song, go listen to it. That shit fire. And so I started off with a sample, and then I did the drums later because I'm not a lot going on. The sound selection carrying, if I'm being honest. So the first sound we have is a serum pad. I wish I could show you the preset, but we don't have that. But the MIDI for that is this. As usual, we gonna put it in FL keys so y'all can hear the MIDI, how the MIDI sounds a bit. Of course, the sound is going to be different because Serum, as I said, the sound is uncarrying, but it's still gonna help some way. Really simple chords, and we playing around with some grace notes on top of the original chord, so you get that movement. The next sound is a lead. I believe this came from Serum as well, something like this. Can't recall what I had on it, but you can definitely hear some effects. The MIDI for the lead, it sounds like this. So a little bit of a melody, but it's following the main root notes. Speaking of the root notes, we have a serum bass, sounds like this. Next sound we have, we layered some serum keys with the serum pad from before. It sounded like this alone. Yeah, and from the sound of that, I definitely put that through guitar rig. The MIDI for it is this. Yeah, definitely chopped up a bit more. You can see these breaks. The other sound is what is it? I call it a leading up. Yeah, so I believe I took the MIDI from the lead and we pasted it into an ARP sound, so the same MIDI, but because it's playing in an ARP, it sounds a bit different. The other sound is this weird lead. I believe it came from Spire. it definitely came from Spy. I don't know why I'm saying I believe. It's really not right there, Spy. Yep, I can smell guitaric all over it. This is the MIDI for it. The second to last sound is this kind of bleep. I like to use timekeepers in my sample, so they're like constant beeps. They sound weird on their own. I think they give you the rhythm. So even for, especially if you have like a sample that's going crazy, when you have a timekeeper, like it keeps you grounded. So really simple. I think it's just hitting on the ones. It's a serum blip. So this is the MIDI for it. For the mixing, it's just some basic leveling and some compression. Nothing crazy going on. So there's a final sound, the last sound, some effects. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I believe it came from System 8. I don't have the MIDI for it, but that's how it sounds like. So the full thing. Yeah, so we're gonna jump into the drum project. I didn't manipulate the sample that much different from what I had in the sample project, so it's just some chopping up. Maybe I did some different chopping in the end. Over here towards the end, that's what I'd say is a bit different. But we go get into that in a while. So let's get into the drums. So the first sound is a clap. Yeah, you can feel the bounce already. We have another clap. A bit heavier. Another clap. Open hats. Yeah. And then the hi-hats. Oh wow, this sounds so stiff alone. This sounds good in context. We have the perk, and then we have the 808. I mean, the 808 is doing a lot, but it sounds like this. So here's some source for your 808s. You know, you obviously gotta do the square thingy, but I usually turn up my 808s by 1%, and then on the main volume you gotta turn it up to like 81% or maybe 84%, and then you gotta make sure you have a soft clip on your master, and then we have a kick for some thump. We have another 808 for some variations. You know, you gotta switch up the sounds, otherwise it gets boring. be the same, but the difference in sound makes the difference, and a crash. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the drums. For the mixing, I only have like some EQs on some of the sounds. The others is just some leveling. You can see some of the sounds I'm even using like the stock EQ that's usually on the mixer track, so nothing crazy going on. Okay, the final part, I said that's a bit different. You know, for the outro, I don't know what got into me, but I decided to make it a little bit different. So I believe I took the sample and maybe chopped it up a bit, and I layered the chops for this final section, and I believe I came up with this. Yeah, so that's your sign to be creative with your loops. They don't have to be the same as you get them. You can play around with them. Okay, here's the final part with those drums. Go check out that sample pack and go stream Onsight's joint, bro. And I'm gonna see you in the next video, honestly. Yeah, that's it.